Truth hurts when you ain't ready. Growth leads you somewhere better. So take your time, relax your mind. It's alright, yeah. It's alright, yeah. It's alright, yeah. It's alright, yeah.
Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. We are back at it again. I am back and better than ever. If you're new here, my name is Bridget Mashunganyika, aka Bella, orphaned at 3 months old, grew up in the orphanage and now advocating for the orphans as well as telling my story. So if you like what I'm about, please like, share and subscribe. That helps with the growth of this channel. Also, please leave your comments. I'd really love to read your comments. And today's video, I'm going to talk about how I went back to school. Finally, how I went back to school. Life after orphanage part 4. Yes, part 4. And the title is How I Went Back to School. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Let's get into the video. So obviously when you're going through some hardships in life, you will meet so many people, especially when you're telling your story. Some people may connect you to the people they think may be able to help, and some people may promise to help. Some people may help you, and some may vanish on you after they had promised to help. And at this point, actually, you know that I was now staying with my sister from the orphanage, and I was doing her landlord's laundry, and he would pay me for that. And if you have not watched the previous video, I think you will need to watch the previous video so that you can be able to catch up. So yeah, my sister was in my life and that landlord I was working for. But those were not the only people that were in my life at this point. Initially, I had met this Namibian lady on a WhatsApp group, like a church WhatsApp group, and she had promised to help me before I even left Zimbabwe. And when I left Zimbabwe, I kept in touch with her, and I even told her that I was now in South Africa. And she introduced me to another lady, but that lady was South African. So she introduced me to a South African lady, and the South African lady also promised to help me. So we have to name these ladies. The Namibian lady, we're going to marry her to name her Mary. Yeah, we're going to name her Mary. And the South African lady, let's name her Jane. Yeah. So now my hope was on Jane and Mary, that they would help me go back to school. So Jane would promise to take me in, help me with the applications, and I would stay with her until it's time for me to go back to school, and she would pay for everything. But she would vanish a week before the day she had told me that I was going to take, the day she had told me that I was going to then start staying with her. And I would tell Mary, and Mary would say, you know, you don't have to worry about that because very soon I'll be in South Africa, so you will come and be with me while we do everything that needs to be done for you to go back to school. But I stressed about it, and you know, I remember I had suicidal thoughts. It really affected me, I don't want to lie, because this is something that I'd waited for, and a week before, you know, someone just stops communicating with me, and she would even dodge my calls. And when I call with a different number, the moment I say my name, she would just hang the call. That's how I lost her. And from then, I don't even know what happened to her and where she is right now. I don't know. And then Mary would then also come to South Africa, and she would stay with her boyfriend. She would told me that once she's settled, I'm going to move in with her, and we will start with the process of me going back to school. And she would even introduce me to her boyfriend. I would talk to her boyfriend, and you know, they made it seem as if, you know, they were ready to take me in at that time, and they were ready to make sure that I go back to school at that time. And my hope here was restored, and I was praying. If there's a year that I prayed so much, it's 2017. I prayed in that year, I don't want to lie. 2016 and 2017 actually. And then, they kept on postponing the dates because sometimes they'd say, okay, you're going to come next month, you come and be with us. And then when that month comes, they would say, next month, you see. That's what they kept on doing. But eventually the boyfriend then texted me, and he told me that they were ready to take me in, so I should pack my bags and come to Pretoria and be with them. But I was not to tell the girlfriend, that's Mary. I was not to tell Mary all that, because he told me that he wanted it to be a surprise. And then I'm like, okay, fine, I'm gonna do that. But before I left, because I was in Northern Cape and I was to go to Pretoria. So before I left Northern Cape, I texted my aunt. I had met my aunt when I was very young, when I stayed in the when I stayed in the village at some point. There's a video I made talking about this. When I stayed in the village at some point, I met her when I was very young in primary school, and we then reconnected after high school. She reached out. I felt like it was incredible, and then I kept in touch with her. And that time I told her, I'm like, you know what, I'm coming to Pretoria, so I might be able to see. And then she's like, okay, fine, tell me when you're in Pretoria. So I would travel overnight from Northern Cape to Pretoria, and I would get to Bosman the following morning. But my phone's battery at that time was problematic. So when I got to Bosman, it was about to die, probably 10%, 11%. So I texted my aunt and I'm like, I'm here at Bosman. Please come and get me so that I can be able to charge my phone and keep in touch with the person who's supposed to come and get me here. That's Mary's boyfriend. And then she would say, okay, fine, I'm gonna come and get you from there. But what then happens is that Mary's boyfriend, gets there before her, and then we go. And then by the time he gets there, by the time he actually took me from Bosman, my phone had died. And, we just left, and I had no any other means of telling my aunt that this guy had taken me with him. See? So I would get to Mary's boyfriend's place. I would put my phone on the charger, and you know, he would let me rest, and then he leaves me. When he left me, I slept, only to wake up to a knock on the door. Someone was calling my name, and that was Mary. And then she was so angry, and I'm like, why is she angry? Because, well, I was just the innocent girl who didn't know what was happening. So she was angry. She's calling my name, and then I got out, and I'm like, and then she's like, "Why are you ignoring?" I'm like, "No, I was not ignoring. I was sleeping." And then she's like, "Why is it you're here? Why didn't you tell me that you're here? I'm only hearing from your aunt that you are here. Why didn't you tell me?" So I told you the reason, and then she's like, That's bullshit." I had not even planned with him. Sorry, I had not even planned with him. Please take your phone and answer your aunt. She's been calling me non-stop, wanting to know where you're at. Well, okay, I forgot to tell you that this Mary and my aunt had talked at some point when Mary wanted tea, because she was selling tea and I was helping her market the tea online. So she had Mary's number, you see. So I'm switching on my phone. There's so many missed calls. I don't want to lie, it was dramatic. So I text her. I told you that I was fine, and Mary was there to take me. And I didn't know that this guy was actually using me as a scapegoat, because they had broken up with Mary, and now he was trying to find ways for him to get back, you know, like his girlfriend. Mary then takes me to a place, and then she's like, "You're never going to go back there. you're never going to see this guy again, and I never want you to see, like, I never want you to talk to him ever again. She deletes his number from my phone, and you know, I tell my aunt that I was okay. I didn't know what they had spoken about with my aunt, like Mary and my aunt. I didn't know. So I told you that I was okay, and I was with Mary at that time. And then she was like, okay, it's fine. If you're cool, then all is well. So I'd stay with Mary for 2 weeks, and all of a sudden she would tell me, Bella, you know what? I'm going back to Namibia, so you should talk to your aunt. You should organize on, when is she going to take you from here, because I am leaving. So she would leave me the money for the rentals for that month, and and I'll text my aunt, and then my aunt would say, you know what? It's not me who was going to take you, it's the people that I'm working for. So I have to talk to them about it, and then I'll hear from them about everything. And then later on, she would text me, and then she would say that these people say that they cannot take you anymore because at some point you were willing to stay with a man. You were willing to stay with a man, so they're not sure if they can trust you. I was just like, oh, okay. I felt judged. I don't want to lie. And I was just innocent in this. So I'll tell Mary that that's what she had told me. And then Mary would be even angry. Then now there was no solution to the problem that I was faced with. She was gone. I was alone. I didn't afford to pay the rentals for that accommodation, and I had nowhere to go. Back in Northern Cape, my sister and the landlord were actually having issues with me being there, because the landlord wanted her to pay for electricity, for water, and he actually wanted to raise the rentals because I was there, and my sister could not afford that. She was not working, it's only the husband who was working at that time. So obviously now I couldn't go back to Northern Cape. I couldn't. That was a no. So that was on a Friday when I talked to my aunt. And then later on, I just texted her. I'm like, you know what? When you're going to church on Sunday, just pass through and get me so that we go together to church. And then she's like, okay, I'm sure they're gonna agree because these people are pastors. So they would come on Sunday, they'll fetch me to church and back, and then they'll drop me after church. And later on the same day, I got a text from my aunt. She's like, Bella, these people changed their mind. They think that you're innocent. So you should pack your bags, and we're gonna come and get you tomorrow. Would come on Monday, and they'll fetch me from that place. And then, on Tuesday I would explain everything to them, and I would also narrate my story to them. And after narrating my story, they would then tell me that, we're willing to take care of you. We're going to treat you as our own child, and we're going to get you back to school. They even asked me what I wanted to study, and I'm like, I want to study law. And then they're like, okay, fine. That was almost end of 2017. So we started applying for school, and then I got admitted at UNISA the following year, and I enrolled in the College of Law. I enrolled in the College of Law, and now I'm in my final year. I'm only left with one semester. That is why I've not been posting for quite a while now, because I was busy with my assignments and also with exams. Exams are coming, and I have to study for the exams. So I might not post as much as I want to, or I might I might not post as much as you'd want me to post. So, you know, but I'll be here. I'll be here and I'll be posting whenever I get time to post. And only one semester left, guys, and I'll be all yours. I will be all yours. So yeah, this is how I then went back to school, you know. But I had to go through some challenges for me to get there. The universe works in ways that we do not understand, you know, and also God. Seriously, all this time I thought I was really it's this is something that I it was heavy for me when all this was happening. But eventually at the end everything worked out for me, and yeah, now I'm even almost done with the degree that I wanted. But also, even after getting back to school, a lot happened. A lot happened. Like, a lot happened. I'll still talk about that in the future. But for now, I think I'm going to start talking about caregivers for now, based on my experience for now, and then from there we will resume. You see, when because what I'm doing is I'm telling my story, and I'm telling my story so that it can relate with what I would then talk about when I'm talking about caregivers. I don't know if you understand, but that's the idea, that I tell a short I that I narrate my story to a certain stage, and then I talk about caregivers, how caregivers are affected after leaving the orphanage and everything to a certain stage, and then I also resume with my story because I am advocating at the same time. It's not only about my story, you see. So yeah, because of that, now we have to end this here. But this is how I went back to school. This is how I went back to school. I had to meet people who were going to lie to me, people who were going to promise to help me. I had to, all that happened was just leading me to this point where I am going back to school. You see. But at that time, you wouldn't be seeing it that way because, wow, it's difficult, guys. You'll be feeling like, the life is chaotic, and you're depressed at some point, you get up, you try this, you fall, you get up, and eventually you get there. So yeah, I've learned a lot from this though, and I think I'm going to do a different video on all this because wow, it was a lot. I thought my life was falling apart, but actually it was the path that was actually leading me somewhere. And now I'll be a lawyer soon. So, guys, yeah, please subscribe, like, share, and comment. And if you would want to hear more, please do subscribe. Also, share. It's gonna help with the growth of the channel. So, this is it. Bye.
Alright, yeah. It's alright, yeah.